Hello and welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing a review, actually, a new album review, and there obviously hasn't been a lot of releases lately because of what's happening around the world, but what we have had is the new Firewind album that came out, I think it came out on Friday. So it's like something, I love it because it gives me something different to do on the channel, and we don't often get to talk about new music these days. So yeah, so Firewind, if you don't know anything about the band, and I'm sure you do, Gus G is the guitarist, and you might know him. He's done some work with Ozzy Osbourne. He was a guitarist for Dream Evil as well, and he formed Firewind in 1998. So they've been going quite a while, gone through a few lineup changes. The original singer left after a couple of albums, and then they've actually got a new singer for this album as well. So let's just talk in general about how the album sounds to me. So I was, as far as Firewind is concerned, I like their earlier stuff more. So their debut album I really liked. So that was Between Heaven and Hell. And then Burning Earth was good as well. And a lot of the reasons for this is I really like the vocals on that album, on them two albums. There's nothing wrong with the vocals after that either. I just think that the vocalist on the first two albums, which was Stephen Frederick, he had a real, I think, in rock, there's so many good vocalists, but sometimes it's hard to distinguish who's who. So you can, a lot of singers sound like each other, although technically, they're really good. They do sound like each other, and I think the original vocalist Stephen Frederick had definitely a distinctive voice, and I think that's what I liked about Firewind, because there's so many power metal sort of bands about that they sounded a bit different. That was the main. I think that was what turned me on to those albums more. I still like the later albums, but I wasn't into them as much as those early ones. So let's talk about this, the new album now. So they've got a new vocalist called Herbie Langens, and for me, I think it's a brilliant move by the band. It's sort of brought that sound back, their classic sound of their first couple of albums. I'm not saying the vocalist is exactly the same as the first one. Without a doubt, it's different. But there's some elements that are similar, and it really reminds me of those first couple of albums that I fell in love with. So the album as well, I think it's got a load of variety on it, which I love. You know what I mean? It ain't full on speed metal all the time. There's some faster paced songs, yep. Probably about 2 or 3. There's some medium paced songs, there's some galloping songs, and there's even a lot of ballad type song as well, which I think is one of the best tracks on there. So the variety is brilliant. I love it, and it keeps you interested, and it makes you want to listen to the album more. I've listened to it twice now just to get a feel for it, so I could do a proper review. Made a load of notes as I'm reading now, about each track as well, and I think it's the best album they've had since. And I know a lot of their albums are classed as, when the last singer was in the band, were classed as their best albums, but not for me. I prefer the first couple of albums, and this brings a lot of that back, I believe. Let's go off the vocals for a minute, because yeah, I'm really happy with those. The bass and the drums, spot on, as always with Firewind. You can't go wrong with these guys. I don't even know if I want to pronounce the bass player's name. Let's just do his first name, Petros or Petro. And Johan on drums. Brilliant, really tight. Exactly what you want from power metal. They're just spot on. You can't fault these guys. They could play anything. Do you know what I mean? So spot on. But obviously the mainstay and the main guy in this band is Gus G on the guitar. I said a little bit of his history at the beginning, and yeah, he's renowned as one of the best guitarists around at the moment. You can see why. He brings a lot of elements of different styles into his music. He does quite a little bit of clean playing in this, like clean guitar sound in this. It's brilliant. He can shred and go as fast as anyone, you know what I mean, anyone in the past and anyone who's around at the moment, for sure. But what I prefer with Gus's playing, and a lot of guitarists now, to tell you the truth, is his more melodic side. So when he slows it down a bit and it's like memorable, you know, guitar licks and guitar solos, that's what I like more. I'm not into the speed stuff, although when Gus G does that speed stuff, he's showing that he can just match anyone, and in the past and now, like I said. But the melody is what I prefer in heavy metal music altogether. Let's talk about the songs for a little. Let's talk about the best songs, I think. Now, you know what I love? I love an album that gets stronger as it goes on. How many albums do you guys know that start well and then they just fade out? The end of the albums are just like tag-ons that don't really, you know, matter to an album. It's like they're, you know what I mean, let's just put that one on the end, let's put all the good ones at the front. Definitely not with this for me. This gets stronger and stronger, and I'd say from the third track in, even though the first couple are good, they're the faster sort of tracks, heavier tracks. You can understand how they're going to open an album like that. But when it gets to the third track, which is Rising Fire, and then it goes right through to the 10th track, that spate of tracks there from the number 3 to number 10. So you've got Rising Fire, which is brilliant. It's not straightforward heavy metal, you know, not speed metal or anything like that, or neoclassical, or it just feels proper, just straightforward metal. Good guitar work on there. It's more of a simple structure of the song, which I like, and it makes it more effective. And the solo on that has got loads of melody in it compared to the first couple of songs. Breakaway is a good track. That's the next track. More simple guitar work, but more effective from Gus G, but a really fast solo again, showing his technical ability. Absolutely brilliant. The next track is really good, and that's Obitath Sunrise. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. It's like a galloping riff on that, really heavy though, but catchy. Loving the verses on this especially. And there's a change of rhythm guitar that Gus G does just before the solo and goes over the solo for a bit. Absolutely brilliant. The next track is Longing to Know You, which is the ballad of the album, if you like. Well, it's the slowest song on here. I'd say it was a ballad. And it really shows off the singer's vocals as well on this, because you can really hear the power in his voice. You know what, he doesn't sing really high or nothing, you know what I mean, but it's not all about how high you can sing. It's about the character in your voice for me, and there's nothing wrong with his technical ability at all. I think it's a brilliant choice to make this guy the new singer. I really do. And that Longing to Know You song, absolutely brilliant. And the guitar solo in that is probably the simplest one, or the most basic one that Gus plays on this, but it's my favourite one because it's just so tuneful. It's the melody in it is brilliant. The next track as well is a favourite of mine. That's Perfect Stranger. What a blinding heavy riff at the beginning. It's like a chugging riff going over the vocals in the verses, and that really brings back that classic Firewind sound from Between Heaven and Hell and Burning Earth. Absolutely brilliant. The next four tracks actually, well, next 3 tracks especially are strong. Overdrive, it's got like a slow gallop, reminds me a bit like Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell. Like, absolutely superb. With the singing over it is brilliant. Really catchy song that. All My Life, another straightforward heavy rock number, but that really lets the singer breathe and show his style, which is brilliant. You know, when you're getting the music just hammering at you, it doesn't give that singer the chance to really stand out, but he really does in this song. Space Cowboy is a new one. You know, as I was listening to that, I was thinking, is that a cover? I don't know. You know, you guys might be able to. It just sounds so familiar to me, but you let me know if that's a cover. I couldn't find anything out about it, but really melodic again. Catchy choruses and verses on that one. And Kill the Pain as well, speeds it up a bit. at the end. That's a really fast song, really fast, closing it out. But it's not fast as in Halloween, the band Halloween, or that sort of fast, like the European metal stuff. We're talking proper, sort of a little bit thrashy metal on that one. And a scorching guitar solo, yeah, again, really fast on that one, but just shows Gus G's skill. Absolutely brilliant. So that's it, really. You know what? There's not anything really weak on the album. Like I said, from track 3 to 10, you know what? If the whole album was that, you'd be looking at a 10 out of 10. As far as it goes, there's a few tracks either side of it that, you know, they're still good, but they're not my favourites. Do you know what I mean? But that bit in between, for a band to hit that length of every song coming on, you think, oh yeah, that's a good one, yeah, that's another good one, oh, that's a strong song. There ain't many bands that could do that now, and I think they've probably felt a bit when a new singer comes in, the band sounds really fresh. They sound like they've got a lot of new ideas now, and I think it was a bit of a master stroke, you know, from Gus G and the guys there. So yeah, you know what, this is a real return to form. I think it's really good, so I'd definitely recommend getting this album. If you like a bit of heavy, like proper straightforward heavy metal, this is it for you. It seriously is. It's really good. Brings back the good old days. So I'd actually give this album 8.5 out of 10. So a real strong one. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.